Declan Branagh.
I, like many in this House, have been aware of the tragic loss and concern surrounding the sad death of Fianna Fáil, the beloved son of Jim, Lucia and her other children. I was a short time elected in 2016 when Lucia came to meet me, and I have to say I was taken aback by the detailed research and forensic evidence that she had compiled on what to me was a deeply concerning failure of our justice system, not just within the 26 counties, but beyond, and how we could allow the driver of this car involved in the killing of Fianna Fáil escape from the full rigours of the law. Fianna Fáil has persistently called for a full public inquiry on this, and I believe a full open inquiry that will get to the bottom and expose the issues and the serious flaws that are in our judicial system in this country. It is blatantly obvious to anyone reading the current published GSOC report that there is an added danger that criminals can move willy-nilly in and out of our jurisdiction unimpeded by their record not being properly shared by the Justice Department's court services, not to mention the PSNI and the Gardaí. Until we have proper information sharing between the Gardaí and the PSNI, people will continue to be allowed to move freely between our jurisdictions, which in my view will have grave consequences for public safety, as was the case here. Indeed, with Brexit looming, the situation may become all the more worse. The key issue, as others have said, is centred on the granting of bail and the failure in communicating to the courts of such conditions. But equally, I have to say, as a public representative in the Border constituency, I am gravely concerned about the apparent failure of the court systems north and south to share information on the issues between both jurisdictions. By the GSOC's own admission in the report, there were 53 previous convictions, 17 of these outside the jurisdiction, either in Northern Ireland or in Lithuania. This is an appalling failure, and the risks associated with the lack of sharing of this information can be seen in other prominent cases. And Minister, I say to you, watch the space in relation to the Craven-Mackin case and the murder of Garda Tony Golden. On the issue of sharing information, and on foot of requests by Deputies Brendan Smith, Joe Carey, Peter Fitzpatrick and myself to raise the issue with the British-Irish Parliamentary Assembly, we issued letters to you, Minister Flanagan, and also to the Permanent Secretary of the Department of Justice in the North, Nick Perry. To date, no response has been received from your department. A reply was received, however, from the Permanent Secretary, Nick Perry, stating that in relation to cross-border policing strategy, that while the arrangements were working well, they would welcome further integrated information sharing between all of the criminal justice partners in both jurisdictions. The letter states that the probation boards, both North and South, had a cross-border protocol and that the Youth Justice Agency currently has an informal arrangement in place. These arrangements have no legal standing and are just what they say, informal. The letter to your department that was sent in September 2017 asked specifically what changes have been made in a way in which information is shared between policing and criminal justice institutions since 2011. We are still, and I am still, waiting a response to that letter. It is regrettable that, with all the trouble the Department of Justice has faced, that your officials have not seen fit to respond to Pippa's request. Our Taoiseach, your Taoiseach, Leo Varadkar, said himself back in 2014, when he was Minister for Transport, that the Department of Justice was not fit for purpose. I am not going to go into the other details that others have done in relation to the convictions of this man and the failures to pass on information from one court hearing to the next. However, I want to know why the proposed Criminal Records Information System Bill, which Government approved on the 17th of April 2012 with the intention of providing for the exchange of criminal records information, is still not enacted. Just to conclude, it beggars belief that the GSOC report states that GSOC is not aware of the current status of the legislation. And as in this case, the recordings of foreign convictions is done also on an ad hoc basis. There is no requirement of the Gardaí to check for convictions outside the Irish jurisdiction. Minister, I believe, and as others in this House believe, that we must have a full, open inquiry, and as Deputy Smith has said, to expose and make sure the failures of the past and that justice is given to the O'Farrell family.
Minister.